Hi, I'm Scott Jackson from Mike Pero Mortgages, and I'm Nelson's first home buying mortgage specialist. So, when you aren't watching the Giants, why don't you contact me and experience what service should be like when you're buying a house or refinancing your mortgage? I'd love to help.
Hey Matur, welcome to the Nelson Pod. It is great to get you on here.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Now you've got such a great story, and I was saying to Matur a short time ago that we don't have a lot of people on the pod who have their own Wikipedia pages, but your one tells a really interesting story. And you were actually born in South Sudan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yes I was.
And how long did you live there for?
I was there for about 6 years old.
Yeah.
Well, 6 years, and then moved to Australia from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And tell me about being a little kid in Sudan. What was that like?
I didn't really remember too much, but I did get a chance to go back. But pretty much my memory was just like my family. That was like the biggest thing. And then obviously got taught real young. Keeping tradition. Like when you move, it's like it's gonna be hard and stuff like that. So like obviously like little things like learning my language and like keeping that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you left, and I understand you left because of a civil war.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Well, yeah. From what my parents were telling me, it was like for better education for me and my family, better life, I guess. That's what it was.
But also a civil war.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you have any memories of that?
Nah, nothing at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're 6 years old, and the family moves to Australia.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you were in Perth, is that right?
Yeah, I moved to Western Australia.
Why there? Why Western Australia?
I had a bunch of family over there, and we was actually supposed to move to Sydney, but my mom was like, because my aunt was living in Sydney, but then my mom was like, no, I think it's better we go to Perth, and that way the kids can kind of visit each other,
Right.
So it's kind of cool.
And what was that like arriving from Sudan, into Australia as a 6-year-old?
It was cool. Just getting to adjust to everything. I haven't been around so many different kids in my life before, obviously, so that was kind of cool. And then just adjusting, obviously little things, learning how to ride a bike, learning English, stuff like that. It was, it was pretty easy. Obviously, like I had family that can kind of help me, that they're already there and kind of taught me little things. So it was pretty cool.
And were you a tall 6-year-old?
Nah, I was probably maybe when I was like 8, 9 years old, I probably just started shooting up real tall. So.
And your family, I understand that you come from a part of Africa where people are tall.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, we probably the tallest people in the world, basically, one of, if not, you know what I mean? So yeah, if you go back home, like you will see like everybody's tall. Like I would probably be considered regular height when I go back home. So it's like that for sure.
And that's just that part of Sudan?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. But and then it spreads out and stuff like that. But from what I know and what I saw, it was just like, man, like everyone is tall.
Okay, and
yeah.
so how tall are you?
I'm like somewhere between 6'9", 6'11".
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I'll say 6'10", 6'11".
And do you get tired of people talking to you about your height?
No, we were just talking about that off the pod. But no, I get used to it. Like, people come up and ask about my height. It's just a normal thing now. Like, we're about to get on a flight. It's going to be a small plane, so that's going to be crazy. So we always, I'm always getting that constantly. I'm, hitting my head when I'm at the house.
Right.
Getting in the car, my knees are, my legs are just too big. Everything is just like, it's an adjustment. But the good thing is like, I'm appreciative because I'm not somebody like, let's say like a Yao Ming or Shaquille O'Neal. Those guys are like, I don't know, 7'6" or whatever, 7'3", whatever they are, but like, I try to make it work for sure.
Yeah, well, clearly you make it work.
Yeah.
Hey, so you're in Australia and you start playing football, I think, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And were you a striker? Were you a defender? What did you play?
I was more like a midfielder
Mhm.
and a defender, so I got a chance to, be able to attack and kind of defend, which actually translates well in basketball,
Right.
which is what I love to do. Like I like to do pretty much everything, whether it's scoring, defending, rebounding, passing, stuff like that. But yeah, no, I did start playing soccer, and then I started getting really tall, and everybody around my neighborhood was just like, man, you're really tall, you're getting taller and taller every single day, and like your legs, like you better stop playing soccer because they're gonna kick you or they're gonna break your leg. Yeah.
They were saying you better stop playing.
You better stop playing soccer.
Right.
Yeah. And then they were like, yeah, basketball is, that's where it's at. And my brother's playing basketball, and I had cousins around the area that was playing basketball. So they were like, I think you should just do it. It's a better sport for you.
Okay.
Really. Yeah. But
how was that? I mean, I played football as well. I still do, and it's a wonderful game. Was it hard to stop playing football?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for me, man, I can remember times like, I mean, I hate to say it like that, but I was basically like really emotional, like, crying about, because ever since I was just talking off the pod, like ever since I was like 7, 8 years old, I knew I was going to be a professional, but then I didn't know as much. And then when I started, growing and I started playing soccer, it was just like, all right, I want to be a professional soccer. I want to play in the stage of like Messi and Ronaldo and those guys. So like that's always been in my mind. That was like my dream. I'm a big Arsenal fan. Not right now, but that's what I grew up around. Yeah. But then the transition was hard for me. Like it took me a long time to quit. Like there was days just like, man, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to go play basketball? Like a whole new sport I didn't know about, and got to create new friends and stuff like that. So when I did that, I mean, man, it was days I was crying, just, man, I gotta do this, I gotta do that.
Right.
So it was cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you find sort of you had a natural talent for basketball?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, all my coaches always tell me like, man, you naturally do this quick. Well, and you naturally do this. You move well for your height and this and that. Like I always get that from like scouts and stuff like that. So I figured like, once I moved to basketball, it was just like, man, like everything was just like fluid and smooth, and like my footwork is there, and like just the way I run, and it's not usual. It's not the normal for a basketball player kind of thing. So I've always kept that in my back of my mind whenever I'm playing basketball, like the way I transitioned, and how like a guy in my position in the same height cannot match up with me as much because I have an advantage. I mean, same thing. A lot of European players get that as well, like because they come from a soccer background. It's like they have like an advantage basically.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And basketball today, I mean, it's your job, but is it still something that you just love doing?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, once I transitioned, once I went from soccer to basketball, like it was all over. Like it was like, okay, Michael Jordan. I remember it was like Gary Payton and Magic Johnson. Like these are the guys I want. These are who I want to be. I started looking at other guys that are like about the same height as me, and I just, I just continued to like study the game and just learn about them, and then the rest is just history. Really.
There you go. Okay, and so how long before you started playing seriously at a serious competitive level?
I want to say probably like 10 years or so now. Yeah, I want to say like 10 years, 10, 11 years. Professionally, about 4 or 5 years now. So yeah, I mean, it's been fun. It's been fun just learning so much about the game. Obviously, like it's taken me to so many different places. And
so yeah, let's talk about that.
Started,
You were in Australia, and then what happened?
So yeah, I started playing in Australia. My brother was playing in Sydney with one of my coaches, Coach Edward Smith at the time. He was like the trainer. So they were working together for a few years, and then after that, it was just like, okay. My brother was basically like, oh, I got a younger brother who's playing, basketball back home. Should go take a look at him. And then I want to say it was like 2013, the end of 2012 or something like that. My coach came down and took a look at me, basically worked me out, and and then he saw something in me, and he was just like, okay, let's get the paperwork done and let's get you over to the States. So they were in the States at the time, so I went there for a little bit. And then I went to Virginia for the first year, played out there for 1 year, training under him. And I played with my brother as well at the same time. And then from then on, we moved over to Canada. I had no choice, it was my brother's choice and my coach. So we moved over to Canada, played at a prep school over there for about 4 years. Well, I was in 2 years and I went to another school, and then I went to another school.
What schools?
Yeah.
How was that?
It was cool. I mean, it was good. At this point, I'm just like, okay, like I've done so much in my life. Like I've been doing all the traveling, and I mean, ever since I was young, you know what I mean? So I've been doing all this. So it's like, it was an adjustment going to Canada, because it's like, well, when I went to Virginia, it was the first time seeing snow in my life, so I was like, man, this is crazy. So then that was crazy. And then I went to Canada, it was worse. Like, the snow, I thought it was gonna be better. I didn't know anything about Canada. Like I've always heard about it. It's like I just never knew anything about Canada. But when I went up there, it was just like, man, crazy, you know. But then that was
Yeah.
Oh, it was freezing.
Yeah.
It was freezing.
Why do people live there?
I don't know how they do it, but I asked all my teammates and stuff like that. I'm like, how do you guys do it? They're like, oh, you know, some guys say they're not used to it. Some say, it's just part of their life, and you know, they grew up from there. But I mean, for me, it was just like, man, I couldn't even do it. I was there for 4 years. I was like, I couldn't do it.
Okay.
It couldn't be me.
Right. So after that,
But yeah, so I went there, and then I entered the NBA draft in, I want to say 2018, and then basically we're going from high school to pro, basically. And well, I entered it twice, 18 and 19. The first year I entered it was, coming out of high school, and you know, I thought, you know, I'm a competitor, so I want to, you know, be around the best really early. Obviously, you know, I was younger. I watched guys like Kobe and like, you know, Kevin Garnett, you know, guys like that, and that, you know, they went from high school to pro. So it was like, and so did my brother as well. He actually got drafted like in 2016. So then I decided to basically do that, and then I went and did the draft process and to pull my name out basically. And then I went over to Europe and played there for a year, Switzerland for like the first 3 months or so. And then the situation didn't work out, so my agent got me a new team, and I went over to Slovenia for about 5 months or so. Did well over there too. Went to the playoffs, and then when we made the playoffs, I entered my name to the draft. So that means I had to go back to the States, do the training, and do the whole NBA draft process, and then basically try to get drafted. I went there, didn't get drafted, so I went undrafted in 2019. So then I scratched the whole thing. I was like, okay, cool. You know, this is part of life. You know, this is the dream you want. You know, there's always, you know, if they close the door, there's always a window open or a door somewhere. So you just got to keep working. So I said, okay, cool. So I finished that. I went to Houston, Texas, and they gave me like a G League Exhibit 10 deal that I took. So I stayed out there for 1 year, and then COVID hit. So COVID hit. And then we basically had like, it was pretty much the season was like.
And you're in Houston.
I was at, well, it's like McAllen, Texas, basically, like 5 hours from Houston. Yeah, so that would happen, and then COVID hit, so I went back home to California with my coach's family, my brother and cousins. Just stayed training out there for a while. And then after that, I signed with the Sydney Kings, 2 years ago, basically, and went out there, played. You know, I'm doing all the talking, but
let's go.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about.
But went out there, played for a year. We ended up winning a championship actually, which was good. And then after that, I wanted to play somewhere for the summer-ish, and I came out to Canterbury to play for the Rams for the New Zealand basketball season. So I did that. I came for about 2.5 games. I played in Nelson for about 12 minutes. That was one of my first games. So I played there. We lost the game, but I played like about 2.5 games, and then the fourth game I was getting ready for, I got hurt. So then I hurt my meniscus in practice, so I had to get surgery. That was painful. So then
that took you out for a while.
Yeah, I was out for basically the whole year, really. And then I stayed there for about 6-7 months or so, did my rehab and everything, and then went back to California. My coach put a good plan together back home, and he had some good trainers and stuff like that. And then we just went there, executed the plan, and then it was all good to go. And then basically got a call about a Nelson job that was opening up, and they said, the coach basically told me like, come in and get to work, chase your dreams, really. So,
okay. And you said Nelson, where's that?
Yeah. Well, the first time, I didn't know much about Nelson at all. And then, I started doing my research and stuff like that. And then I came over, I was like, man, this is crazy. I thought Christchurch was small. Nelson it was way worse.
Or better, or way better, depending on how you look at it.
Exactly. No. Well, after I came in, and I've been 2 months or so now. Like it's been, up there with with the best of them, really.
Oh, I think so. Like,
definitely.
I've lived and spent a lot of time in big cities around the world, and one of the things I love about Nelson is it is a little city. You know, it's got all the stuff that cities have, but maybe not as many options. But the stuff's there, and you can walk to it, which I love.
For sure. No, I mean that's the big. I mean, I've been since I lived in Canterbury. I lived in like smaller cities before, so like I was kind of like used to it. So when I came here, it was just like, man. I mean, I remember a lady, she's a fan of the Giants, came up to me and she was like, welcome to Nelson and stuff like that. And she was like, basically, there's two ways you can look at Nelson. You can look at Nelson in your room, or you can look at Nelson outside and actually go meet the community, people in the community, go explore and stuff like that. I was like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. So I took the second route that she said. So I've been being able to go around a little bit. I haven't gone out to too many places that I want to yet. So.
And how long are you going to be here for?
Basically till around, I want to say mid-August-ish.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Could you see yourself coming back?
For sure. I mean, maybe to just visit, and obviously like all these guys like been kind of like my family now. Obviously Coach, he's done a lot for me. Like giving me an opportunity to come over here and just, continue to chase my dream. When I spoke to him on the phone, it was just like, man, just the connection was right there. And, first came in, he was like, yo, come to dinner, come meet my family and kids and stuff like that. It was cool. So I definitely want to, big shout out to my whole team for sure. Guys like Sam, Iggy, Abe, like the whole team basically, like we all take care of each other, and especially the local guys, like, which I think in my opinion is like they make the team really, because like they can kind of show us like, okay, this is what Nelson is about, this is what the city is about. So like I could definitely see myself coming back and like visit the guys and just enjoy Nelson really. Like it's a cool city. Like we got the access to basketball, we got good scenery, and you name it.
So your coach is Mike Fitchett. What is it, do you think, when you had that first conversation with him on the phone, what do you think it was about Mike that made you feel so good about the Giants?
I think he was just like real honest with me. I've had coaches in my career that's always like, tell me the real, and he was definitely one of them. Like I knew it from the jump. He was just like, all right, this is what you're gonna do. Come in, do what you do. Obviously, I know you've been hurt and stuff like that, so I want to get you back slowly and get you in shape and stuff like that. And he has done everything, in his power to basically get me where I need to be, really. And for me personally, it's been like the stage I've been looking for, pretty much my whole life. Like career-wise, like I've never really had this opportunity where I actually get to play at the, small forward position, at the 3 position, which is always what I want. And like I was telling you about the soccer, it was just like I'm kind of built it's like I'm a point guard in a big's body, so like Coach Mike is able to like put me in positions to succeed really, because I'm able to defend guards, I'm able to handle the ball and shoot the ball and like do a lot of different things on the floor, which has been, shout out to him, man. He's been like, he's really been helping me, and he's really been like challenging me in practice and in games and different, things that I can get better at, and that would make my game where I need to be.
And I've seen a lot of photos of you on Facebook with the fans who like getting their shots taken with you. How have you found just the general public response to you being here? No,
it's been good. Another shout out I wanted to do was I wanted to give a shout out to the Victory School up in Nelson as well, because some of the kids over there, man, they just, they really, all the schools that we train, like they're really cool, and like, they're hard workers. There's a lot of talented kids actually in Nelson. Like, I want to definitely give a light to that, just, for the kids to just continue to keep working hard, and because, man, a lot of them have talent like you, and they'll come from all different races. It's like, man, this is crazy. Like just to see how active they are, and they're like 8, 9 years old, 10 years old, So it's like I was just in that same position, like, in their shoes. So it's like, man, I just want them to just continue to, to push for that. And it doesn't mean if you live in Nelson. I come from South Sudan. It's the same thing. Like even if it's a small little town, it does not matter. You could make it out anywhere, So like, I'm really hoping those kids just work hard and chase their dreams really. But the community has been really cool. Like, just being able to get out. Like everyone is so nice in the community. Everybody wants to kind of help, and man, we definitely got the greatest fans in the league. Like,
yeah,
they, when you in the supermarket, they just come up to you like, hey man, great win the other night. I think you should do this better. Like, you're just getting all different comments and stuff like that. And so it's been really cool.
What is the best advice a fan has given you?
Ooh, the best advice.
Or the worst?
They haven't really given me anything bad. But one of our fans told me, well, we were always having conversations, but she basically was like, I need a gift from you, and I was like, I knew what she was talking about, and I was like, yep, I got you. And the gift was basically win a championship, So like, for me, I mean, it was already in my mind before I even stepped on the ground. It was just like, come into Nelson, win a championship, and the rest will take care of itself, So like with me, like I always try to go in every situation and try to win something, and always, give it my all, and make sure that I give the people what they want and leave them with something to remember. You know what I mean? So like for me, it's just like win a championship, and in saying that, it's like we have a big game tomorrow against Auckland, so we definitely need that win for sure. That's where my mind is at right now. But I think win a championship, and that's what the fan told me, was just like,
okay,
I need a present. That's my present. It was.
And what about like it's interesting how Nelson's changed in the 25 years that I've lived here. When I first came here, it was really quite diversity wasn't a big thing, to be honest, and it has become increasingly diverse over the last 25 years, which I think is a great thing. Do you find that sometimes when you're out and about that people react because you are very tall and you look different from a lot of people?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, every town I've been in, I mean, it was the same thing with, for Canada, it was the same thing. It was just like, man, like this dude is just tall, and it's like, man, who are you? But then I feel like the town kind of, I mean, not everybody, but I would say most people are kind of like used to athletes, especially in Nelson. I feel like, but like, for me, I definitely stand out extra. So like when people see me, it's like, man, like, what, like, who, like, who's this, and where you from? And people always stop to ask, where I'm from, how tall I am, and what I do and stuff like that. But a lot of them know that I do play for the Giants. I try to wear my outfit as much as I can, but I mean, it's definitely, I definitely feel that, like, that is different. But I mean, there's a lot of different people in Nelson, which is, like you said,
and it's what we need. It's what we need. I mean, to be honest, my wife and I, when we were contemplating becoming parents, one of the things we were worried about is Nelson, really didn't have a huge amount of diversity 20 years ago.
For sure.
And it is, for me, it's been fantastic seeing the place become more interesting in that way, and it's good for our kids. Because the world is a diverse place. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, and speaking of that too, I always tell people, like, just when you go to different countries, it's always good to just know the culture, know the history, and just explore, man. Because it's like, I mean, you only get this once, really. We only got one life, right? So it's like, I always tell people, just go and enjoy it. Go live in a different country for a little bit. Go, see what it's like, see what they do and stuff like that. So that's kind of like been with me. Like, I just been trying to kind of like embrace New Zealand, really, in a way. So it's been crazy.
Have there been things about Aotearoa, New Zealand, that you've thought, gee, that's weird?
I mean, probably like what's weird? I mean, probably actually. Well, when I was in Canterbury. I remember one time I went to like a little bar or whatever, like just going out with my friends and stuff like that, and like people came up to, like the security came up to me, and he was like, you can't come in because you're not wearing a button up.
What?
Yeah, stuff like that. And it's just like, what do you mean? Like, it's in like going out and like into town and like into the bar. It's isn't like I mean, especially for countries I've been in, it's more like people embrace like fashion, really. Like, it doesn't matter what people are wearing. Obviously, I'm not gonna wear anything crazy, going into like a restaurant, like a nice restaurant or something. Like there's certain places that you go to that you don't wear certain things, what I mean? So like I didn't know that was gonna be a big. I was just wearing like a t-shirt, and the guy was like, "No, you can't come in."
That is very strange.
Yeah, you have to take your hoodie off and like all this. I was like, "Wow, that's how I'll probably say that."
That's Canterbury.
But that's Canterbury. I mean, Nelson, we don't have. Shout out to Nelson. We don't have any of that in Nelson, but yeah, no, that's probably the only thing. And then, what's the other thing? Nothing. I wouldn't say anything weird.
Have you had Vegemite?
In Australia, yeah, but I wasn't a big fan.
No.
No, I wasn't really a big fan.
How about Feijoa? Feijoas?
I've had it. One of my friends, one of my teammates put me on it. It was like a mix of like, I think they had like mango or something in it. It's like a juice kind of thing or whatever. But
Okay.
I mean, I'm not the biggest fan, but
Okay.
yeah, I'm a big.
Fijos.
Yeah.
Hey, and so you just like you said, you know, we all get one turn at this thing called life.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you want to do next with yours, and what's have you got a plan, like a 10-year plan, and do you want to sort of stop just constantly being on the move because you've bounced around a lot? Do you like thinking about a future where you're sort of staying in one spot for a while?
For sure, most definitely. I mean, my goals from now is like, try to first thing like I said is just try to win a championship here.
Yep.
And do great things for Nelson and the city, and to basically try to, my goal is always be in the NBA and always will be. So like I want to be in the States. I've always wanted to play for two different teams basically.
The Giants and
okay, I mean the Giants. Make that three.
okay, the Giants and
But the Giants. Oh yeah. So basically after the Giants, I want to be in LA playing for the Clippers or in Miami playing for the Miami Heat for sure.
Okay.
So that's definitely been my goal. So I definitely got eyes on that and just trying to pursue that. Definitely want to, play for one of those teams and then, just get a place and get a,
make it happen.
yeah, basically just make it happen and then just be there. Obviously, I definitely want to explore, like, if I want to come to Nelson, I have family here now, guys that I consider family, like my teammates, my coach, of course, and all the guys. So, like, it's definitely a good thing, for me to be able to explore and go to different cities. I definitely love Auckland, actually. I love Auckland. So I definitely want to do a lot of traveling, obviously go back to Australia here and there. But yeah, no, I just want to get to the NBA. Yeah, just chase a dream.
And to be blunt, I mean, how many years have you got? Do you think?
I didn't really think about it like that, but like, I would definitely could say like 15 years for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I can definitely play for 15 years. But like, I'm just excited to just get it rolling. And like I said before, it's just like, Coach Mike has just, put me in a position to just come in and succeed and, go for the goals that I want. It's been amazing. And like, I could really see it, I could really see myself getting to these goals. That's what it really excites me. But yeah, man, I'm just ready for it.
Hey, well, good luck with those goals, Matur. How do you feel about the time in Nelson in terms of the impact it's had on you? Like, you haven't been here that long, but it sounds like you really like the place.
Yeah.
Do you think Nelson's had an impact on you? Do you think it's changed you in any way?
Most definitely. I mean, it's definitely, especially like, basketball wise, it's been really amazing. Like talking to coach off the court, on the court, talking to my teammates. I remember last weekend we went over to one of my teammates, Tom Mingy's house up in the Lake Rotorua?
Lake Rotuiti? Or Lake Rotorua?
Rotuiti, yeah. So he has a place up there, so we got a chance to go up there, most of the guys on the team. So when they had a little team sleepover, so that was pretty cool. Like, and then just having that, it just shows you more about the guys and like, obviously how humble they are and, especially the local guys, just the way they're able to kind of accept guys. Even we just had like a new player, Callum McRae, and the way we've just been able to embrace him as an import as well is just like, it's been good to see because a lot of times you don't see it in teams like that when a new guy comes in, everyone's kind of like, off of it a little bit and stuff like that. But like we don't have that, and that starts with the local guys, for us, for our team, and like that's been really good. So like I feel like Nelson definitely has changed me a little bit because it's a small city and it's kind of taught me to just be calm, embrace the city, embrace the fans, the basketball and stuff like that. And then just like, I remember one of my coaches told me in Europe, he was like, if you're going to be in one place, unpack your bags. He was like, unpack your bag, meaning don't be packed ready to go. So don't have your mind somewhere. That's why when I talk about the NBA, it's like, I want to talk about the game we're having tomorrow. We got a game tomorrow, and then I want to win that game first, get to the playoffs, win the championship here. So like I always like being, unpacking my bags, just like staying in the moment and just achieving the goals that are at hand right now. So like, for me, it's like just embracing Nelson in that way, just getting in my car and just drive around, just see the town and, see everything they have, try different restaurants, try to meet some new friends, stuff like that. So it's definitely been cool for sure.
That's so cool. It's so cool you're here. And it sounds to me like you've approached Nelson Whakatu with just the best attitude. and it was really nice to hear what you're saying about Victory Primary School and the other schools. What happens next after you leave New Zealand? What will be the next chapter for you?
I think for me, it's definitely find ways to get to the NBA. So basically, I definitely got a lot of options. You know, I could go to Europe and play for a year. I could go to Australia and play for a year. I go to the NBA, you know, do stuff like training camp and stuff like that. Try to get in, you know, into one of the teams. And basically for me, it's just to go steal a job. That's just, as hard as it sounds, it's just like go compete for a job, really. So like for me, it's just like finish out real strong here. That way I have, you know, something that people can say like, man, well, he was a champion. He was this. He was that. Here's are his numbers, stuff like that. So that's why I keep saying, you know, thanking coaches, because I mean, he's given me the opportunity to be able to go chase those kind of stuff. You know, like being in the NBA is like, it's been my goal. So like now I'm able to play myself in that. I'm in the position I've always wanted to play in my life. You know what I mean? Like being able to do everything at the 3 position. So now I have. It's in my hands really.
Yeah.
Like I can really take it anywhere. I mean, I could play tomorrow and get signed tomorrow. You know, that's how I live my life. You know, I always think like be in that moment.
So in some ways, do you feel like you're on the launch pad?
For sure. Like I'm definitely like, it could happen for me. It could happen right now. I could get a call right now. You know what I mean? So that's how I just try to take it a day at a time and just try to work that way. But for sure, my next goal for next coming year is to definitely get to the NBA.
Cool.
For sure, yeah.
Hey, well, good luck with that dream.
For sure.
Good luck with
it,
the plan, the whole thing. Thank you very much for your time today, Matur.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for being part of Nelson.
Most definitely.
We just think it's fantastic you're here, and it sounds like that you're in a great place with the team, and it's so cool that you're having a great time.
For sure, most definitely. I really appreciate that. For sure.
Good to chat.
Any advice for me?
Advice for you?
Yeah.
I was going to say craft beer is a delicious thing in this part of the world, but you'll be in training. You can't be doing that.
Well, that's crazy. I'll tell you a fun fact. I actually I don't drink or smoke.
Very wise.
Yeah. So my thing was no drinking or smoking until I win an NBA championship. So that's my thing.
All right.
Yeah, that's my thing for sure.
Good goal. Hey, again, thanks for your time, Matur. Great to chat.
Appreciate it. Thank you.